Hi, I'm Coach Amber, and welcome to the MeatRx Success Story podcast. Today we have John with us, and he's going to share his success story. Hi, John.
Hey, how's it going, Amber?
Good, thank you. So, John, tell us a little bit of what your life was like prior to starting a meat-based diet. Were you having any health issues, or did you have another reason for wanting to go meat-based?
Several things, I guess. I've been overweight my entire life, and I'm talking grade school, and I'm 66 now. So weight has always been a problem. Shortly after my oldest was born, I had a health checkup, and my oldest is 31. They discovered high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So yeah, all those issues have hit me, and my weight blossomed up to about 310. Might have gone higher, but my scale doesn't quite go that high. And I'd been on cholesterol medication, blood pressure meds, and gout medicine for 30 years-ish, give or take. So I needed to do something. My oldest son had broken his foot a few years ago, and his podiatrist, orthopedic surgeon, were discussing it all because I was traveling out to take him to his appointments and whatnot, and was telling me about meatheals.com, which is, I guess, more of a website of success stories. And he just turned me into that, and he'd been doing meat only for about a year at that point. And so I started researching it, and had researched it probably 5-6 months. Then decided, well, I need to break the sweet habit. And it was artificial sweeteners. So I started drinking coffee black for a couple months, and picked May 1st, 2019 as my start point. So that's pretty much it from before. But as I said, it was initially a weight issue, which turned into high blood pressure, etc. I'd only had one bout of gout, and that was a guess because I've always had high uric acid content. And I've since learned that that's not necessarily the only thing about gout. So thank you, Dr. Ken Berry, for that. So yeah, but yeah, my journey started May 1st, 2019.
That's awesome. Yeah, Ken Berry, he's great. I love him and Dr. ShawnBaker. They are two of my favorite
it was the other one. Yep.
And I'm really honestly a little bit surprised, and I'm really glad that you got the information you did. But so many people who have gout kind of freak out over the whole thing of eating more meat, red meat. Oh my gosh, that's horrible for gout. So I'm really glad that, well, we'll see at the end if that's actually improved or not. But for you to even implement that diet in the first place when you have gout is kind of a big deal.
Well, it was never diagnosed as gout, because to do that, you have to take the crystals out of the joint or something and have it diagnosed. My doctor at the time had guessed because of the pain in my toe, and it was excruciating pain. I'm telling you, it's not something you ever want to have. He assumed it was gout, and just put me on allopurinol as a preventive. Didn't cure it. I had to painfully sit out and wait for it to go away, but as just a preventive measure for the rest of my life, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. So when you first started a meat-based diet, how did you implement it? What were you eating? And did you include things like dairy, eggs, coffee, spices, anything like that? What did you keep? What did you kind of weed out?
Okay. Meat only, sort of. I couldn't give up black coffee. At least I gave up the artificial sweetener. No dairy, and I live in Wisconsin, the dairy state. So that was a killer. I don't consider cheese dairy, but I really haven't had much cheese since then. I find that that slowed my weight loss. So I was like, when I get down to near where I want to be, I'll introduce more cheese to it. Spices, yeah, I like, obviously, salt. I don't use much pepper anymore. But other spices on my meat that don't have any sugar in them. And then eggs, of course. Yeah, I go through a lot of eggs in a week. But meat, sausages, processed meats I do a lot of. And I'm aware that nitrites and nitrates aren't necessarily bad for you. So I always look for the carb content and the ingredients now whenever I or my wife goes to buy food. My wife is not quite as perceptive on the ingredient list. However, she's following more of a keto diet and she's dropped 40 pounds since February, and it's kind of holding straight in there, but getting rid of sugar was a biggie. She's a breast cancer survivor after this past February, so there's a relationship of cancer and sugar. So there's zero sugar in our diet. We don't want to feed her cancer cells if there's any left in her. I mean, she's been declared cancer-free, but obviously we have several years to go.
That's awesome. And I'm really glad to hear that your wife is kind of on board too. Maybe not completely carnivore, but hey, keto, we'll take it.
She, in the beginning, she wasn't. She thought I was crazy, absolutely crazy. My doctor, nope, not on board. Was happy with the weight loss this past March, but just wasn't happy with how I did it. And it's like, well, Doc, we disagree.
Yeah, that is extremely common, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the pits. Okay, so when you first started, did you have any kind of transitional issues, like any kind of digestive upsets or fatigue or anything like that that you noticed?
Yes. I probably should have gradually gotten into it, maybe started a little more keto going in, but I started right away meat. I had the usual irritability. I had headaches for probably the first 3 weeks. I was eating ibuprofen like candy. So that was, I mean, if you looked at me wrong, it set me off easily. And I tried to remember that was one of the possible side effects. So I pushed through that. Then I had the usual loose stools, of course. Never trust passing gas, trying to use proper language. But yeah, I had that for, a couple months, but after that, no.
Good. Okay. Well, that's really good. Okay. So after you've been on it a while, did you start noticing any health improvements? And if so, what was the one thing that kind of shocked you that you weren't expecting?
Well, especially the first probably 5 months, the weight came off pretty quick. And the waist size kept going down rapidly. So I think the weight loss, I have a home blood pressure monitor, so I kept my eye on that because I was still on my meds when I started. And then as I noticed my blood pressure going down, I stopped taking one, and then it kept going down, so I stopped taking my blood pressure meds. As far as cholesterol goes, I had actually gotten off of that last fall, almost a year ago, and figured, let's see where it's going. And my ratios are fine. LDL is higher than my doctor wants it, but it's fine. And the relationship of LDL, low LDL, and Alzheimer's is documented. So I'll keep my LDL up there. I mean, it's under 100. It's like 74 or 79 right now. But, you know, and the doctor wants triglycerides done. I did have a coronary arterial calcium scan, which showed 54 on the left side and 0 on the right. So I'll go in for one of those again, give or take February, March, because I want to be able to see if it's gone up or down after a year. And hopefully I can toss that into my doctor's face as either staying the same or going lower. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. So, but yeah, now I'm off all my meds, period. No blood pressure meds, no more Lipitor or atorvastatin, allopurinol, my 2 blood pressure meds. I'm off them all.
That's the best. That was one of the, you know, hallelujahs for me is getting off those meds. That's awesome. So have you gone back to your doctor since you've had all these improvements? And if so, what has he said?
Okay. No, unfortunately. And I'm an old fart. So, you know, Medicare only lets you go to your doctor once a year. So I won't be going back until March, which is when I last went. So we'll see how it goes, you know, and what he says. I know that there is a low-carb friendly doctor about 25 miles south of me. I would rather not travel that far, and I would hope that at some point there'll be one in my area. But if I have to change doctors, I will. I like my doctor. I just don't agree with him on everything.
I understand that far too well. So what about some other health improvements? What about your gout? How is that doing?
I haven't had an issue. As I said, I only had one bout of it 30 years ago. And so I rolled the dice, and I'm hoping that I never have it again without taking allopurinol. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. I mean, I have not had any issues. So keep the fingers crossed. I eat red meat almost daily, and I eat meat daily, but red meat almost daily. So
awesome. So do you plan on staying carnivore?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me backtrack. I also I might transition a little more keto. I don't know yet. I do also eat fat bombs. That's my dessert nowadays. Full fat cream cheese and butter, and then mix in either vanilla or some sort of an extract that doesn't have sugar in it for flavor. And my wife and I actually kind of like that now as a dessert. It's not ice cream, unfortunately, but it's in there. But yeah, I have absolutely. Our grocery bill has gone down. We're not in the aisles of the store unless we're buying, you know, mayo, full fat mayo, of course, or pork rinds. You know, we have to go to the back of the store for meat. Obviously, that's where the meat counters are. And my wife takes. She just started drinking coffee with. We use organic cream, full fat cream. She likes that. I don't. But other than that, that's our grocery bill has gone down. I don't know how much, but significantly.
That's awesome. I would say that would kind of be something that would be a little shocking, you know, the thought of that, because you always hear, meat's so expensive, it's so expensive, it's so expensive. But you don't realize about all the stuff that you no longer have to buy. So even though the meat might be more expensive, overall, you're actually saving.
But I'll tell you what, not only that, we buy a higher quality meat. If I can buy prime meat, I do it. Why not? You know, you're not buying a $4 box of cereal. You know, you add that $4 onto the price of a choice cut steak instead of a prime. you got prime. I'd much rather do that. And barbecue, as long as you're not using a sugary sauce or a sugary rub, whoa, it's awesome. You can eat as much of that as you want.
Yep, I'll have to agree with you on that. And I like the premium cuts too. I'm a little spoiled, but I do. So I get you there. Well, John, thank you so very much for sharing your story. I think it's so important for more and more people to get out there and let others know that maybe there's a different way if what they're doing is not working. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Not a problem. And I forgot to mention, since May 1st of 2019 until today, so that's 17 months and 9 days, I am down 134 pounds.
Whoa!
And
That's awesome.
my waist has gone from 54. I have to admit, I'm at least a 38, and I'm going to try some pants on tomorrow because I finally found a place that'll let me try pants on without having to order them and then try them on and find out they don't fit. So I'm going to try on I know a 38, and it might be swimming on me like my 40s are. So I'm either going to be a 38 or 36-inch waist down from 54.
That's amazing. Congratulations to you. And I'm so glad you remembered to bring that up. I totally forgot to ask you about that. That's huge. That is really huge. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Amber.
And you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, John.
You also. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.